Well, we're going to get to like our favorite and least favorite companies that can go in there.
Rich? Rich. No, Rich. Damn it.
No, not Rich. Rich.
The other Rich.
Russ.
That's how many I have, I have that many recommendations.
Like I still, every time I'm using it, I'm like, I cannot believe this thing even exists. Like the amount of power to it, the beautiful display on it, and with enough power to power this huge high resolution display with a high refresh rate. It is easily probably one of the better like portable gaming experiences I've ever seen. Well, we're going to get to like our favorite and least favorite companies that can go in there.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the NerdNest podcast. You guys are probably wondering, where the hell has Carrie been? He's got a new job. His schedule doesn't match with ours, but we're trying to work something out so that he can come back for future episodes. So maybe this will be the last episode for a while where you won't see his beautiful face trying to make me laugh during the intro. But I'm not joined by him, but I am joined by Russ and Rich. Russ, how's it going today, man?
Good. Everything's good. I had a crazy day last night. Our power went out from like 7 p.m. to like 3 in the morning. But I realized, I edit all my videos on a MacBook Pro, and I was like, oh, I can still edit. And so I like edited my entire video with the power out. And it was just kind of those neat, like one of those cool moments where I was like, I'm glad I use a laptop for this. I don't really think that too often, but that was kind of cool. But otherwise, yeah, doing great.
Very cool. I also use a Mac laptop. And in the summertime, my wife has this little patio out back, and I'll bring my laptop out back with me and sit under the umbrella and edit out there. It's awesome to just not be trapped to a desk. Rich, Are you trapped to a desk?
Technically, I am. I am trapped to a desk.
He's handcuffed.
But yeah, I'm happy to be here, guys. I can't wait to get into all the random things that we have to talk about today.
And we have a lot to talk about, but I wanted to start the things that we're going to talk about today. This is the plan. It might change. Some new handhelds with SteamOS on the way. We're going to talk a little bit about the games that we've purchased during the Steam Winter Sale, which started, was that today or yesterday?
Today.
Yeah.
Today. Yeah, that we purchased so far, thanks to that. And then we've got a little bit of news about prices that we'll discuss. And then we're going to be nominating our nominations for the NerdNest Awards. And I'll talk more about how that's going to work later on in the episode. But let's start off with this news here that apparently Lenovo is going to be releasing, and this is rumored, by the way, but apparently they're going to be releasing a version of the Lenovo Legion Go 2 with SteamOS. And I have to say, I am incredibly excited about that. Everybody that I've talked to that has had hands-on time with the Lenovo Legion Go 2 does cartwheels when they talk about the screen. Like, the screen is beautiful. It's huge. As an old man with old eyes, I want the big screen. That's why I've been spending most of my time playing the Lenovo Legion Go S, because it has that 8-inch screen. This one has an 8.8-inch screen that is also VRR and OLED, but it's a Windows device, and I'm not super huge on Windows. So I'm very excited that there's a SteamOS version coming. Russ, you have had hands-on with the Lenovo Legion Go 2.
Yeah.
And I think you even installed SteamOS on it at some point. Did you or did you not?
I did not. No, I just did out of the box because I only had it for like 2 weeks to review. And
right.
When you said people doing cartwheels about the screen, I thought you were going to say people are doing cartwheels to justify the $1,350 price point of it, because that's my thing about me is, man, that thing is so expensive. And I just got, I bought my own Legion Go S over Black Friday because it was $650. It's a Z1 Extreme, sure, it's not the best chip, but it still works fine. And, I'm never playing heavy hitting games on these handhelds most of the time anyway. So I don't really see that benefit of the additional 20% lift that you get with the Z2 Extreme. So yeah, for me, I don't know, you can always put SteamOS on the Legion Go 2 already. It's great that they're going to come with it. And I like the idea because then we'll get maybe official support. It might be a little bit better than running the beta version of SteamOS that you can grab off their website. It'll maybe the RGB lights will actually work, things like that. Anyway, the only thing that I think that would drive me towards it is if it's cheaper or if it's like a different color.
Well, I think that, well, first off, I do think it would be no, I doubt
willing to spend $1,350 as long as it comes in white.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, well, it comes in black already, and traditionally Lenovo has been making the Windows ones white ones, so I don't think that they would make the SteamOS one white. I think they would go for more for that purpley color.
Right.
Would you spend more money for the purpley one, Russ? Or it's got to be white for you, right?
You know, it's funny. I love white handhelds. I like how clean they are. But I got to say, you know, once that $650 Z1 Extreme Lego S came out, I was like, I'm just going to get that one, even though I want the white one. I could not justify the additional price point. It was just way too high for the Windows one. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I'm getting over the whole color thing at this point. I bought D-brand like kill switch and grip and skins for it. So mine's going to be a yellow Legion Go S. It actually just arrived today. So I'm going to install that and probably make another video about it.
Very cool. So you mentioned if the price is cheaper, I think that the Lenovo Legion Go S, the Windows version, is more expensive than the SteamOS version, right?
Yep. By a lot. I'm looking it up right now. I think it's either 150 or $200. There's a big difference.
Right. So, Rich, if this drops down, I mean, I know it's still over $1,000, but if it drops down from that $1,350 to say $1,100, is that something you're interested in, or are you like, nah, I'm good, I'm going to pass, even though that screen is real nice?
Yeah, I'm glad Russ was the one to bring up price, because I always feel so guilty when I'm like the negative person about price. Like I do think, I think that there are a lot of people out there that are like me when it comes to price, and I think Russ, you're the same way. Just having heard some of the other videos you've made about this sort of stuff, but the vocal people in my comments and sometimes in your comments, Bill, are like. It's a nice piece of hardware. Yeah, it's going to cost some money. Like it costs less than a desktop. And I'm like, cool, that's great. But yeah, 1,100 for a handheld. I am sensitive to price, right? And that's still going to be a lot for me. A $200 discount is huge. If I hear that, like, yes, the Lenovo Legion Go 2 is one of the, it's just a piece of hardware that you have to have. I'll probably wait for like a sale in addition to getting the cheaper one. I say that something I haven't really talked about, broadly and even not that much to you guys is I think I'm going to pull back on hardware reviews. It's something that I've teased with you guys. But I don't feel like my heart is in the hardware reviews, at least not at the moment. So this is not something I'm going to go to Lenovo and be like, can I get a review copy or review unit? So if I have one, it's going to be because I paid for it. So, and I don't think I'm going to pay for it. Yeah.
So I got the Legion Go S pricing here. So it's actually back on sale. The SteamOS version, so it's Z1 Extreme, 32 gigs of RAM. It's $749 right now on sale, though. Usually it's $899, so usually it's $900. And I think that price actually went up from when they first had announced it, right? Like I think just based on everything that went over this year. So right now, retail it's $900 and it's on sale for $750. I got mine for $650. So I would say if you're it's a good deal. $750 is not bad, but it's been lower, and so maybe look out for that. But anyway, the white one with Windows, 32 gigs of RAM, Z1 Extreme, $980 retail and not on sale. So right now there's a $230 difference between the darker one and the white one. So that's kind of how it was with Black Friday. I'm like, there's no way I'm paying that much just to have a white handheld that I then have to wipe and put SteamOS on, and so that's kind of the way I was thinking when I bought it.
To me, the thing that is most interesting about this story is just the fact that SteamOS is on another or could be on another device. I want SteamOS to get out there and be on more stuff. What I'm really looking forward to is when it starts shipping on devices that are not handhelds. And when I say shipping, I don't mean necessarily just Valve putting it on their website and saying, go ahead and install it on whatever you want, which sure, you could do that. Some things will work better than others. If you want to do it with most things, you can just use Bazite, and it's essentially the same experience. But I like the idea, especially because Microsoft and Windows has really ticked me off in recent days with the way that they have been like going for this AI stuff so much and, you know, shoving Copilot down our throat. I really want to see like a gaming laptop that comes with SteamOS installed, or even pre-built gaming desktops that comes with SteamOS installed, where you go in and it's like in the gaming section, like it's got the, I don't know the brands these days. I'm guessing probably like Alienware or whatever, but it's got like Alienware and it'll have a big old Steam logo up there in the Best Buy. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to get this because I play video games and this usually gives the best performance when I'm playing video games.
You know what they should call this?
What?
Steam Machine. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. But Steam machines won't be in stores. That's the thing. Well, I don't think they're going to. Valve has been interviewed and they said, we like doing it through our store. I think if they did release it in stores, the price has to be higher. We already don't know what the price is, and people are already very wary about what the price is for the Steam machine. Yeah. I think that the only way that SteamOS and Linux can really break through, like we talked about, I don't know, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, is if you can go into a store and buy it and you're not looking for SteamOS. You're just like, here's the thing. I bought it to play video games on. It looks a little weird, but it works. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, no, I think it's got to be hardware driven.
Yeah, I agree. It has to be hardware driven.
Yeah.
Rich, anything?
Well, I was going to say that is kind of a neat moment here, and you could say the same with Legion Go S. So this isn't the first time, obviously, that Lenovo has SteamOS on their handheld. But a neat moment here, specifically with Legion Go 2, is that Legion Go 1 was sort of the breakout moment for Bazite, right? So kind of feels a little full circle here, where you know Bazite was kind of introduced to us by way of Legion Go 1, and now Legion Go 2 getting SteamOS just feels like the right way to see it.
And it's the first SteamOS handheld with a Z2 Extreme. You know what I mean? So that's kind of neat too. Like it'll be interesting to see what the performance bump is from the Steam Deck and then the Z1 Extreme Legion Go OS.
Yeah, that's another reason I'm interested in it is like not necessarily because I want to necessarily play games on it, because I have 1,000 different systems that I can play games on, even ones with Z2 Extreme, but I don't have SteamOS installed on those. And like, I would like to like make comparisons between, you know, this one and that one. And I don't want to go through the rigmarole of wiping Windows, like doing my benchmarks, then wiping Windows, then installing SteamOS, and then running my benchmarks again. And then I want to keep the whatever the hell, what's this thing called? The Xbox
LIX?
LIX, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the Xbox LIX. I want to keep the Xbox LIX with just Windows on it, so that when Microsoft puts out updates to the full screen experience or something, I can easily make videos about it. And I don't want to have like 2 different M.2 drives that I can swap between the two. And we just lost Russ.
What happened, Russ?
I don't know. Let's just pause and we'll wait for him to come back. And what is it? Fuzzy audio. Boots? Oh, he lost audio. Boots. Okay. Where were you seeing that?
We should in the studio chat.
Oh, I see it now. I wish it would like pop up on screen.
A thing that you would actually remember. What song do you what kind of songs do you like, Bill? Other than
I listen to everything.
Of Fuzzy Boots. Well, you don't listen to Fuzzy Boots, clearly.
Well, actually, we were at my wife's Christmas party.
Yeah.
I might leave this in. We were at my wife's Christmas party, and that song came on, and it was like Boots with the Fur, and I go, baby, this is the song. This is the song that I say Fuzzy Boots for.
Yes, that's right.
If I do leave this in, I suppose I should explain to the audience, whenever there's something that I want to cut out, we say Fuzzy Boots, because Rich wanted me to say Boots with the Fur, and I couldn't remember that because I'm an idiot.
I didn't even want you to do that. That was something I told you about that my friend does. That my friend has a podcast, and he used to do Boots with the Fur. They would leave on one thing and come back on the other. So, but yeah, that was a fun bit.
All right.
Did we pause?
Russ, sort of, but it's okay. I can edit around stuff. You back?
Sorry.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. For some reason, just like I wasn't even touching anything and just I lost audio. And then I checked it and I was losing audio for everything. So I just unplugged my Scarlett thing and then replugged it and it worked. So maybe I'll just do that live next time. I'll just unplug and plug it back in.
Yeah, okay. Fuzzy boots or boots with the fur. I'm going to get it right someday. All right, here we go. Where was I? Did we have anything else that we wanted to talk about with the Lenovo thing before we move on?
No, I think it's cool that they have it in the first place, but it's really just about, I don't know, that price point just makes me so uninterested at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. All right, speaking of prices, games are expensive, but they're not always expensive. Like right now, the games are pretty damn cheap. We got the Steam Winter Sale happening. I bought a couple of games yesterday. Russ sent us a screenshot of his cart. Rich, I don't know if you've shared yours yet. Russ, start us off because I've already forgotten the name of the game that I bought yesterday. So I got to look that up. What have you been playing or buying, Russ?
I did a little bit of cleanup. So for me, it's like, I got a big wish list and then I'll just kind of go through when there's a sale and then see whether or not it hits that threshold. I'm like, okay, it's worth it, So like the first one on my list is Fez, like Fez. This game's been out forever. I have it on the Xbox. I probably even have it on GOG, but I was like, I want it on Steam and I think I needed it for Portmaster or something. Like there's a reason why it was on my wish list, and it was $3.39. So that's a pretty good discount. And I was like, all right, that's worth it for me. So that was the first one. The DLC for Streets of Rage 4, which I never got to because I never finished the game. It's on sale. I got that for $3.59. Again, I thought that was like a pretty good deal. It's like I'm like buying it to like force myself to invest more into it. It's like how I bought all the Shredder's Revenge DLC, like in anticipation of finally beating that game, which I recently did, which is awesome. And then I bought the upgraded remaster bundle for Horizon Zero Dawn. So I bought this game a while back, played through it already on the PS4. But this one is basically just an add-on pack to make it like better graphics and all the other stuff that came with the remastered version. And I'm not sure what it is upgrade price. I think it's $20. Maybe I've seen it on sale for $10 at some point. Anyway, it was $6 right now because Sony's having a big sale. So I grabbed that one. Again, I thought that was worth $6 to get, the enhancements from that. And then I bought Last of Us Part 2 remastered. So this is like... Again, I played through this already on the PS4, but I kind of want to have Steam Cloud saves and I kind of want to play through it again. And it was on sale for $40, and that was the threshold for me where I was finally like, that wasn't even in my wish list, but as I was looking through the Horizon stuff and I was like, oh, Sony sales, what's there? And then I just grabbed that one. And then finally, I bought one called Four Strike. And this is, I don't know if we've talked about this one. So I was on a different podcast and one of the hosts there was talking about it a bunch and how much he loved it. So it's basically a game where it's a roguelike in some ways. It's like a kung fu roguelike, but you essentially get to practice as much as you want of each level. So it's like a level and say there's like 8 enemies. And you've got to time it perfectly to get one guy before the next guy. And so it's almost like time travel where you're practicing this and kind of going through a like dress rehearsal. And then finally, when you're ready, you go fight. And that's when things get real. And then you actually have to fight. And it's like you got to try to do what you had practiced. And so that's what the Four Strike is like you basically, you've ever watched any of those movies like, like the Equalizer, right? Where he's like, he sets his watch and then decimates everyone in the room, right? This is like you practicing for that moment, basically. Because when you do hit play and you nail it, that's what you do. You decimate everyone, right? Because you're anticipating their moves because you already know. You practice it 10 times or whatever. And so it's a really neat concept and it's on sale for $8. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to get this one. I haven't played it yet, but I heard this guy ranting about it for a half hour and I was like, all right, I'm convinced, put it in my wish list, just waiting for the threshold, and it finally hit. The only regret, and then so that's all I bought, but the only regret is that I was hoping that Marvel Cosmic Invasion would be on sale because I didn't pick it up when it first launched, which I think was at like 10 or 15% off. And I really do want to play that. And so I'm kind of hoping that, there's going to be another future sale for that one too.
Yeah. Didn't that just come out though?
Yeah, it's a new release.
Yeah. That's also on my wish list.
Yup. And then RoboCop's the other one that's like also like $30 and 2D. And I would like that to be, I think it is, it probably is still the 10% sale.
You mean Terminator?
Terminator. Sorry.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Terminator 2D. Yes. But yeah, I would like that to be on sale for sure.
Yeah.
But
What'd you pick up, Rich?
I haven't picked up anything. No, you're good. I was going to say, funny you mentioned Four Strike. That's been a demo that I've tried. It is really fun. So yeah, now that it's on sale, I should pick that up. I haven't picked up anything. I do have some recommendations just on things that are either historical low or close to historical low. So Pizza Tower. If you guys haven't heard of Pizza Tower by now, it's an amazing 2D platformer, kind of in the vein of like Wario Land games, but more speed runny. We talked about Mega Man 11 last week, and that game is it historical low? It's close to its historical low. It is yeah, and it is cheap. Historical low if you get like from one of the other stores like Gamer Thor or something like that. But yes, $4.50 either way. That is well worth the price. I love that game. Blueprints historical low, 44% off on Game Billet. I don't know what it is on Steam. It's 34% off on Steam. So. Not quite historical low there, but you can get that at Game Billet. Ninja Gaiden 4. I've been loving Ninja Gaiden 4. So that's another one. 30% off. That was like $70. And so now it's down to 49. One I want to recommend that I mentioned on this podcast before is Popucom, which is like the Puyo Puyo, but like co-op shooter kind of deal. So that's 20% off, currently $16. And then finally, I don't know how to pronounce it, but like is a puzzle game, like a 2D puzzle kind of game, and that is 20% off. It's by the people that made Electhead, I think was the game, which was another good 2D puzzle game.
Very cool. I'm not going to be able to keep track of all these. Could you guys type your the ones that you recommended into the show notes when you get a chance? I
got you. Yep.
Thanks, man. All right. I picked up 2 games. The first one is one that everybody's talking about, and nobody doesn't know what this is, and it's Arc Raiders. And the reason I picked it up is because I do like a game to play where there's just a gameplay loop that doesn't require me to pay attention to story, and I'm just going in and shooting things, right? And my barber, I go once a month and I get a beard trim, and for the past 2 months, that's all he can talk about. He cannot stop talking about Arc Raiders. He says that some of his favorite video game moments that he's ever had in his life have been playing Arc Raiders. And I'm like, you know what? It's on sale. I don't remember how much it's on sale right now for. Yes, I do. It's normally a $40 game, which is awesome that it's normally a $40 game. And right now it's on sale for $30. So he says that he plays it on his Steam Deck all the time. I'm going to be playing it on the big screen because I don't want to try and aim on a little screen. I want to have a big screen for aiming. But that's one that I picked up. I played the tutorial, and that's as far as I got because that was yesterday. I think the Steam sale started yesterday. Because I otherwise I wouldn't have been able to play Arc Raiders because I bought it on sale. So
I think it may have been today for me, but it's all good.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
So I picked that up. And then the other game that I picked up that I haven't had a chance to play yet is one that I think very few people are going to be paying attention to. But Rich, I think it might be for you. It is called Wordplay, and it is essentially a Scrabble game that's a roguelike. So think Balatro mixed with Scrabble. And it looked really, really cool. It's 30% off. I picked it up for $5.60. It's usually only $8, but I figured, hey, you know what? Why not? And I thought that this game looks really fun. It has controller support. This is the kind of game where, again, I could throw on a podcast and just listen to something while I'm playing, and I don't have to worry about story. Just play through, and every time I play, it's a little bit different. You can also get the Wordy Roguelikes bundle, which comes with that and Birdingo, which looks like some kind of other word game that involves birds of some kind. I did not get that bundle. I just got the Wordplay bundle, or the Wordplay on sale, and I think that game looks really fun, and I'm looking forward to trying it out.
I assume you know Wordplay is by Game Maker's Toolkit, the YouTube channel Game Maker's Toolkit.
No.
So, yeah, so he also made Mind Over Magnet, which is a 2D puzzle platformer, which was also good. So yeah, I'll buy Wordplay. Absolutely, at $5.60 already in my cart. Done.
There awesome. You have it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let us know. Go ahead, Russ.
I was going to say a couple other lightning round nominations. So there's a deep discount page on the Steam one. And so they've got Slay the Spire for $2.50. That's just like a no-brainer, I think. And then they've got the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga. I think this is like the second week in a row I've talked about how great this game is. $5. And then Detroit Become Human. I don't know if you guys played that one, but it's $4. That's I played that on the PS4. That was a really good. I love those like Heavy Rain style games. It's by the same makers as that, and so that's a really good one too. I just love the fact that those are all under $5.
Yeah, and Skywalker Saga is fantastic. I play that with my grandson, which is mostly me saying, go towards the yellow. No, because he's 3 and he doesn't really understand what to do yet. He just likes to see the characters on screen doing stuff. But I'm like, go to the yellow thing. No, that's not the yellow thing. You know your colors, buddy. Go to the yellow thing. And he's just running around facing the wrong way, but we still have fun playing it. And we'll do the same thing when Lego Batman comes out because I am very fired up about that game. All right. Let us know in the comments section down below any of the games that you picked up and you think that people are sleeping on as part of the Steam Winter Sale. There's tons of games on sale right now. And if you know of games that are on sale in other locations, let us know down below so you can make us all spend money, because that's what always happens around this time of year. All right. I got like 4 stories that are all kind of related to the same thing, and then we're going to get to the awards. Those 4 stories are, and I'm going to lay them all out at the beginning. So, the price of RAM keeps going up. Everybody knows about this. Apparently, because of this, and because the 50 series cards, I guess, are not nearly as popular as NVIDIA was hoping, they're going to cut production. This is a rumor, by the way, of NVIDIA series cards by 30% of the 50 series cards. I'm sorry. Apparently, the Nintendo Switch hardware is getting the parts that they use to build it, the price has gone up 41%. And because of all this, Larian Studios has basically said, look, because PC components because hardware is so expensive, we don't know how to target our next game Divinity for the future, because usually when you make a graphical powerhouse kind of a game, you aim for where people are going to be by the time that game comes out. I'm assuming this is going to be quite a long time before this game comes out. And so they don't know where people's hardware is going to be, because the price of 32 gigs of RAM is like $500 right now, and nobody wants to upgrade. So they have started optimizing their games, this game, sooner than they would have liked. Basically, making sure it'll run on lower spec hardware before they would normally do that. And I think that this is very, very interesting, especially when you combine this. I made a video about this. Actually, it came out today. We're recording this on Friday. I made a video about this where I think that the fact that the Steam machine has 8 gigs of VRAM and people are going to be hesitant to upgrade their PC components, I think the best move is for devs to start targeting 8 gigs of VRAM, and hopefully they will be able to run on the systems that people have when the games finally come out. Rich, what do you think about this?
There's so much to think about.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. I think that it's interesting that Larian Studios is being so transparent about this so soon, right? Because Divinity is something that we've talked about. Who knows how far away this game is exactly.
Right, but they do tend to launch their games in early access.
That's also
something that Larian does.
Good point. Yes. And so I like that they're being transparent about it, and I'm not surprised that they're being practical about this. I think it's something that other companies are going to have to do, but I don't know that they will, right? So like the Ubisofts, the Microsofts, and when I say Microsoft, I'm really thinking Activision, but Activision is now Microsoft. So the Ubisofts and all of those Take-Twos of the world, they're, I think, going to be going to have to be more practical about like what people actually have. Does RAM prices, for example, does it delay APS6 that it felt like we were on the verge of seeing be announced here? Does it mean that it's going to take us a little bit longer to be announced? And if it does, then does that mean that these developers kind of have to pivot their plans in terms of what they're optimizing towards? I don't know. Clearly, I'm left with more questions than answers. But I like Larian's approach, and I hope that more companies take that approach, especially given everything that we've said before. One thing I wanted to ask you guys: what do you make of, especially in November and post November now, of Nintendo not raising the price of Switch 2? Yeah, I'll leave that open-ended. What do you make of that?
I think that it's because they made a ton of them. They made lots and lots and lots, and they are just like, it's not hard to get a Switch 2. I don't remember ever having a Nintendo launch where it was easy to get that system in the first 6 months. It was always like, if Kerry were here, he would talk about that guy that Nintendo has that, it does, like, he's got his abacus out there and he figures out exactly how many units that they need to have on store shelves in order to make people feel like FOMO so that they run out there and spend money before they really think about it. And that's not happening this time. And I think the only reason that that's not happening this time, it's not because they're not selling well, because it's the fastest selling console ever right now. And I think it has to be that they just made so many of them before these shortages were hitting. And so they're able to hold the line so far. But I feel like it's only a matter of time. Do you think it's only a matter of time before the price goes up on the Nintendo Switch 2, Russ?
Yeah, exactly. I think the same thing. Like, it's just, they probably made a calculation like, all right, if, maybe we can wait this out, that maybe the prices will go down at some point and it'll be more affordable. And maybe they're taking a hit right now and they're like, you know what, let's just not increase prices and kind of separate themselves from the others who are. But yeah, I don't know how long they can hold out. If they had a 30 to 40% increase in their costs, that's a huge jump. So.
It really is. Rich, you brought up something I thought was interesting. You mentioned like the PS6. Do you guys think that the next gen systems like the Xbox, whatever, the PC from them, and the PS6 will be delayed because they're going to wait out the RAM prices?
It's just so that's why I say I'm left with more questions than answers. I really have no idea, right? Like, this is very, I would say, like, unprecedented ground that we're on, like because this is snowballing from what we've been experiencing in the last 5 years with like graphics cards. So like we have now it's all mounting up, and it is a lot for people to deal with. And every time I say stuff like that, like I hear from folks where like, oh no, it's a luxury, like no big deal. You buy the things that you can afford, which I do agree with. I just think that like people are going to be buying fewer of those things if things continue the way they are. And that just seems like the way it's going to be. And also, like, to that point, there was the November report, right? Where like fewer units of hardware were sold through Black Friday and the, holidays in November than since 1995, I think it was.
Wow. I didn't see that report.
Oh, did you see also that Xbox got outsold by like a little Android mobile
Connect
company? Connect, which they made, right? They made a Connect and then it failed, and then somebody else made a Connect and it outsold the Xbox itself. Yeah, crazy story.
Right. What was the name of that thing? Do you guys remember what it was called?
Oh, I just looked it up. I forgot the name of it.
Something Playground?
I saw it and I was like, I'd never heard of this thing. And this goes to show you why it needs to be
Playground.
X Playground?
NEX. Yeah.
Oh, NEX Playground. But I feel like that is evidence right there that things like the Steam Machine and the Steam Deck should be in stores, because we're pretty plugged into the gaming industry, and we've never heard of this thing that outsold the Xbox. Why did it outsell the Xbox? Probably because people saw it on store shelves.
That's it.
Or on Amazon. And like, if you're not putting your devices where people are shopping, then people are not going to buy those devices.
I'm gonna say no to that, Bill, for one reason, and it's very selfish. If they made enough units, let's say, to prior to the RAM prices jumping, for them to sell it at a price that is a little more reasonable than it's going to be a year from now.
You're talking about the Steam Machine, right?
The Steam Machine, yes.
Okay.
Then I want it to be limited to people that have a Steam account, like it's going to be, at least to start. I want to selfishly be at the front of the line when they sell a Steam Machine. Yeah.
For the first month, don't let anybody buy it who doesn't like play Steam all the time.
That's right. Yeah, they'll look at your play history and be like, all right, how many titles do you have in your catalog? Okay, you can get one.
They're not even going to let Carrie buy one. They'll just call them up and say, you have to buy this now.
Right.
Because we know that you have 10,000 games in your library.
They're just going to send them one. Yeah, they're just going to send them one and be like, "Oh, you're also a YouTuber? We didn't even know. We're just sending you one because of your catalog."
Correct.
They don't know that it's the same guy. All right. So prices are going up. That sucks. And it's mostly because of AI, and Larian Studios is complaining about it, but they're also using AI, and they talked about that a little bit. And I guess it's basically they're saying that they've been using generative AI for, I can't remember what's it called when you make art that is concept art. I guess they've been using it for concept art. And Sven Wienke, hopefully I said his name right, he basically said, hey, we're not firing anybody. We're not using this because we want to fire somebody. And that's a great thing to say. But at the same time, that's exactly what every company would say. They would say, well, we're not planning on firing somebody. We're just using it to make things more efficient. Well, when you make things more efficient, then you can make things cheaper. And if you can make things cheaper, then you can fire people. So even though they haven't fired anybody yet, they're complaining that AI is pushing RAM prices up, and that means that they have to optimize their games sooner than they want to. Well, stop friggin' using it then. Stop using Gen AI.
Yeah, I think, honestly, I think that their approach is probably like the right one. Like, they're just using it for their workflow, for their existing artists, right? And they're saving themselves time. It's that, to me, is how AI should be used. If it's going to, improve efficiencies and allow you to kind of have a better streamlined workflow, but you're not going to actually use it for your final product, it makes sense to me, that's exactly how I would be using it too if I was in kind of that creative space and I wanted to, just as a personal example, sometimes I'll go on ChatGPT and be like, hey, give me some examples of titles that I could use for this YouTube video that I'm working on, right? And then I'll just I'll say, it's this thing, I'm working on this, whatever. Give me 10, and they are all lousy. They're terrible, right? The wrong thing would be to take one of those and paste it into it and be like, okay, I haven't done any thought. But sometimes it'll spark a moment where I'm like, oh, this is so wrong, but this is actually pointing me in where I actually want to go. So it's almost like, for me, I'm a very conversationalist kind of guy. Like, I will talk through my ideas with somebody else. It doesn't matter who that person is. I just need to talk about it, right? And right now, as a guy who's sitting alone in a YouTube studio, sometimes it's ChatGPT who I have to talk against and be like, you are an idiot, but you at least got me to where I needed to be, And so that I think is a benefit of AI right there. I'm not using them to actually make anything, right? But it does help me with my workflow. And I think that's exactly what Larian's doing here. So I don't have any issues with it.
Russ, that's software developers refer to that as the rubber ducky effect, or rubber ducky. Yeah. So we constantly have this trope where, like, we go to explain a problem, and by explaining the problem, by the time we're done explaining it, we realize the solution, and we're like, oh, I'm going to go back to my desk and fix the problem. And so, like, we invented rubber ducky as the thing that we talk to. So perhaps you need a rubber ducky.
It sounds like I need that.
Hang on, I got to jump in on the rubber ducky thing.
Yeah.
as a teacher, that happens to me all the time. It's like the kids will go to they'll be taking a test or something, and they'll call me over and they'll be like, "Hey, Mr. Fairchild," and I walk over there and they ask me a question, and then they know the answer after they've asked the question, and I didn't say anything, and I go, "That's awesome. See, you didn't need me," and I walk away.
There you go. There you go.
What were you saying, Rich?
I tend to fall where you are, Russ, but I understand the counterpoints to that, right? Like I just suggested, like if you need someone to talk to, maybe it's not a LLM, maybe it is a rubber ducky or something like that. I don't know. But also like that's an expensive, thing that you're talking to. I think less so when it's like generating an image, or I heard the talking point that Sora, generating a video in Sora, is like $5 per video. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
That's bananas.
Yeah. And so I definitely get the counterpoints. I'm similar to you where like sometimes I'll use it for software development in particular, where I've mentioned before, it's more accepted, more common in software development, and doesn't feel, it feels like everyone's kind of bought into like, oh, this is leveraging open source software. That's no big deal, as opposed to kind of the visual art side of it, where it's being trained on visual art that from people that weren't paid, and those people feel a way about it, right? And they're right to feel a way about it. So a lot of complications, a lot of intricacies. I definitely understand, but I don't judge Larian harshly for how they're describing their use of AI. That's me personally.
Yeah. And I don't judge them harshly yet, but as soon as they realize that they could have, like right now, let's say that all three of us are artists at Larian, and we're all sitting there making doing our prompt warrior stuff, typing stuff in, getting an image for, can't remember the term again, concept art. I remember now. So we're making all our concept art, and then somebody says, "Hey, Russ is making like a bunch of concept art, and why can't we just get rid of Bill and Rich and have Russ make all this concept art instead of paying those two guys as well?" And I'm not saying that they're going to do that. It's just something that it worries me, especially in a year when there's been so much jobs lost when it comes to the video game industry.
Yeah, this is where I'm more sensitive to the cost side of it, both the actual cost and like the climate cost, and sensitive to like the art theft. I'm a little less sensitive to like I think people should not lose their jobs. I don't want to sound like that. What I mean is I sort of err on the side of unionization, I err on, universal basic income. Like I start to think like, I don't think that like we should, if the costs are reasonable, that we should necessarily like stop this thing from happening because people lose their jobs. Instead, we should have protections for those people. So either they don't lose their jobs or they don't lose their income.
I agree with that too. And I did just see a story earlier today. I did not add it to the show notes, but there was a Microsoft studio. I cannot remember which one, but because of all of the layoffs, they said, no, we've gone full union now. And I cannot remember which studio it was. It might not even have been a Microsoft studio. I might just remembering it wrong.
Arcane Leon?
Maybe. Perhaps? I just don't remember. But some, like, the more studios that make a union, the better for those developers, because then they have safer jobs, and it forces the companies to treat them like people instead of like numbers on a spreadsheet, which is usually how people get treated when you're talking about billion-dollar companies. Not even billion-dollar companies. Million-dollar companies will treat people like they're numbers on a spreadsheet. All right. Anyway, soapbox behind us. We've got the NerdNest Awards, which we don't have like a format that's reoccurring. So I'm kind of trying to reinvent how we do it this year. Last episode, I asked some of you to come up with some categories that we could nominate things into. And we have a few in here that are from them, a few in here that are from me, and these guys came up with some stuff as well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make nominations today for what we want in this, and we're allowed to nominate as much as we want. Okay, so if you want to add 2 or 3 things in because you think that they're really awesome, then we'll add those in. I'm also going to put out a poll, and it's going to be linked down below as well as in my community Discord, where you guys can nominate things. And if the most popular nominations that come in from the audience are not on our list, then we will add those into our list as well. And then when we come back in January, we will then announce the winners and stuff like that. So that's how it's going to go. We're going to start off in hardware. It's a good thing that Russ took a look at this because he put things in order. Like, I just had a bunch of stuff and he put it organized because he thinks that way. So let's start with hardware. And I want to say, first off, the best new hardware of the year. So this is something that actually came out in 2025. Russ, you want to nominate something to go into that list?
Yeah, so I'm going to put the AYN Thor, that Android-based handheld, because it's like the first real Android dual-screen handheld where everything just clicks, and it's, I think it's got I know it's very niche in terms of like, the entire world or whatever. We're not talking about like a new car or whatever, but I don't know. This one I think just deserves to get some recognition as a great piece of hardware.
It really is a great piece of hardware. We had TechDweeb on the show, and he was playing it during the show. And then when I found out the price, I was like, oh my God, that's so cheap for what that thing is doing. I can't remember how much it is off the top of my head, but it starts at $250. Cheap.
Yeah, it starts at $250 and $299 for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. That is good for that chipset, even today. Like, it's still a good price, especially with dual OLED screens. So, yeah.
Yeah. Rich, you got a nomination for that?
Yeah. First of all, I'm glad to see AYN Thor get nominated. I haven't bought one yet, but like, I just, everybody I see with one is just so happy with theirs. It makes me so happy. I didn't buy this hardware that I'm nominating either, but I feel compelled to nominate it. It's the Radeon RX 9070. I believe it was released in March of this year. And it just seems to be like, yeah, everybody has aligned on this is the new bang for your buck GPU. And if you're going to build something, this is a good starting place where it's actually come back to kind of MSRP price or close to it. Whereas everything else is just so much higher than MSRP. So I was this close to buying it, which says a lot, right? Like I mentioned already, I'm price sensitive. I'm not buying a lot of hardware all the time. So for me to be that close to buying it, I think says a lot.
I think I'm bad at remembering because it's letters and friggin' numbers. So I'm always like, what the hell do I have? I think I'm 98% sure that that's the card that I have in my Steam machine that I built, and I freaking love that thing. It's so good, and it just runs everything like a dream. So that's a great nomination. Awesome. I want to nominate the Lenovo Legion Go S, only the SteamOS edition with the Z1E. So it's a very, very specific one, but that is the handheld that I spend the most time with. And I absolutely love it. It's really great. It's got that big screen. It's super comfortable in the hand. It's just a really good all-around system. And I haven't done it yet, but over my Christmas break, one of the things that I plan on doing is yanking the 4 terabyte M.2 drive out of my ROG Ally X, not the Xbox Ally X, but the ROG Ally X that I have in there, wiping it, installing SteamOS on there, and putting that in there instead, just so that I have more storage on it. It's such a great system. Let me write that down. Anybody else have anything else that you wanted to nominate?
I have
for
one
that category.
Yeah, I've got one that I don't know. It's like so great, but it's hard to recommend, if that makes any sense. So it's the Asus ROG Flow Z13, that tablet that they made with the Strix Halo. It is amazing. Like, I still, every time I'm using it, I'm like, I cannot believe this thing even exists. Like, the amount of power to it, the beautiful display on it, and with enough power to power this huge high resolution display with a high refresh rate. It is easily probably one of the better, like, portable gaming experiences I've ever seen, but it is like $2,000. So, it's one of those where it's like, it's amazing if you get it, and so it's one of those I rarely recommend, but I just think it is an excellent piece of hardware, and it's kind of like a precursor to, I think, greater things that will come in the coming years.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I'll have to nominate Xbox Ally X, new full screen experience. Yeah, it do Xbox branded handheld. It was a moment for sure, right? And so I think it's worth discussing the Xbox Ally X. It is worth
discussing. Yeah. I think Russ nailed like the perfect way to sum up the Xbox Ally X. It's a great PC handheld. It's a terrible Xbox. And I think that that's the perfect way to describe that thing. And most people that are watching this show are not, like, they're not buying it because it's an Xbox, but it does run into problems when you go to a store, because people who see it, they think it should be an Xbox, and it's not. And that's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to add one more in, and that's going to be the Trim UI brick hammer. It's the all-metal Trim UI brick. It's same form factor. I should have gotten it out. It's the same form factor as the Miyoo Mini Plus. It's like a vertical Game Boy style form factor. It's got a really nice screen on it. Really great build quality. Huge fan of that. I took that, that was the only technology that I took with me when I took my family to Vegas for my wife and I got remarried for our 20th anniversary by Elvis. And while I was waiting for everybody to get ready to do things when we were there, I would grab the Trim UI brick and I would play it while I was there. Anything else that we want to add, or do we want to move on to the next thing?
I think we should move on. We got to give space for Carrie to add a couple too.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
There you go.
All right. Best old non-2025 hardware of the year. So the hardware that you're still playing today, even though it's old, and I mean, we all have 1,000 handhelds within arm's reach. So what is it that you're reaching for these days that didn't come out this year? Rich?
Steam Deck OLED.
Yeah, I knew that one. That's mine too.
Steam Deck OLED. Yeah.
I figure Russ has way more of these than you and I do, because he just has so many more devices that he's has hands on with recently.
So one I've got is and it falls into the next category we're going to talk about, but it's the Switch 1 OLED. Like, I'm like, you know what? Like, and it's partly because the Switch 2 is just kind of meh for me, It's like, this thing is banging, like, it's just awesome. And so I love the screen on it. I love that it, the price, I think, did go up for it, or it's still, it's pretty high. I was hoping it would go down, but it's not bad, for what you're getting. It's hard to justify against the Switch 2 right now in terms of price point, but the reason why it's on my list is because lots of people have one, and it's still an amazing handheld, much like the Steam Deck OLED, right? Where it's like, it's still, my kids will still pick that one up to play instead of the Switch 2. And I think that says a lot. So that's why that one's on my list.
I think next year, the Switch 2 will end up being in this category, because I wanted to nominate it for Best New Hardware of the Year as one of the nominations. And the reason why I wanted to is because the hardware is really freaking good. Yep. But there's just no games to play on it. There's tons of Switch games, don't get me wrong, but there's no Switch 2 only games. There's so few of those that it makes me never pick it up. And so I think next year, once there's more stuff, once we have an entire other year added onto of software releases, I bet you the Switch 2 will probably land in that category, because it is a really, the hardware is fantastic. It really is.
Yeah.
All right. So we got Steam Deck OLED and Switch 1 OLED. Anything else for you guys? Because I can't think of anything else that I still use from last year.
Those are my two.
Any old RAM sticks or SSDs?
Yeah, DDR5 RAM, yeah.
Yeah.
DDR5 RAM. All right. All right. Biggest hardware regret. I wish I didn't buy this. I'm going to go ahead and start us off. I wish I didn't buy the Switch 2. I wish I didn't buy 3 Switch 2s. I bought one for me. I bought one for my son. I bought one for my wife. And I think my son gets more use out of it because he plays the Pokemon game and his friends play the Pokemon game. But I hardly touch mine. There's just not enough games to play. So for me, it's got to be the Nintendo Switch 2. I wish I hadn't bought it. But I do, like I said a second ago, I think it's going to be awesome in the future.
Yeah. I mean, that was my main nomination, but then also, so I didn't actually buy this one, but I feel like it should go on this list anyway. This is funny, but it's the Xbox LAX. So I think that, personally, this one is, it's not much of an upgrade, in terms of from the Xbox Ally or the regular Ally X and even the regular Ally. Like, I think that these annual just kind of mediocre improvements that we've seen, we got a bigger battery now, thanks to the Ally X. We've got better ergonomics now with the Xbox Ally X, but we still got that same screen. And yes, we've got that Xbox experience, but that's, it's going to be coming to everything else. And so I feel like anybody who upgraded from an Ally X to an Xbox Ally X it's just like a huge regret right there, just in terms of what you're getting between the two, especially 6 months from now when they have the Xbox full screen experience on the Ally X anyway, So this is one where I'm like, I just wish that they would pause, give it 2 years, and then release another one,
Yeah, but they're laptop manufacturers, and they think like laptop manufacturers where they put out a new thing each year. And it's fine. We don't have to buy the new thing. That's the thing, is people always forget. You don't have to buy the new thing every single year, even if it has a bigger number. You know what I mean? For me, I think that the biggest drawback to the Xbox Ally X, other than Windows, is the screen is just so small. Like, I want a bigger screen. Rich, you got a nomination for the hardware regret?
Struggling to think of one beyond what you two mentioned, and maybe this is a reach, and I also kind of want to reintroduce it for maybe back to the best new hardware. But analog, like, should analog be nominated in any one of these categories?
Well, we're going to get to like our favorite and least favorite companies that can go in there.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Well, I will say I have no regrets about buying my Analog 3D.
Yeah, I felt like that was a reach. Yeah.
I'm sure that there are lots of people who do regret buying their Analog 3D. I don't, because the reason that I bought it was not because I wanted to play every Nintendo 64 game. I bought it because I wanted to go into stores, go hunting for a game, find that game, bring it home and play it and try it out. And just today at work, a friend of mine came up to me and he's like, I brought you a present. And he handed me a copy of Banjo-Kazooie. He said, you can play this over Christmas. And I was like, hell yeah.
That's awesome.
So he loaned me his copy of Banjo-Kazooie that he had from when he was a kid. Hopefully there's an open save file. I didn't even think about that. If not, I'll just bring it back to him. I won't delete his save. But that's why I bought it, is for the experience. It's the same reason why I buy a record. You know what I mean? It's like I could listen to any freaking song I want. But I still buy records. You can see my record player right over there. Russ, do you think, do you want to put that in biggest hardware regret?
No, because I got a review unit, right? Send it over to me, and I bought my own, so that because I wanted a different color. So I bought the white one because I didn't want the black one. And so I'm just going to give the black one away, and that I think says a lot. I don't do that with a lot of my other things, where I go and I buy something. The Legion Go S is the only other thing I can think of this year where I had a review unit and then I ended up just buying one of my own as well. So I wouldn't put that as a regret. I can see why some people will. There's that recent video from Kaze, I think is the name of the YouTuber, right? Where he's making his own homebrew game and it doesn't run properly on that. And there's a couple other little things, like it doesn't work properly with NeverDrive, but now they've got some fixes for it. But yeah, there are some little things that I bet there
was on the net. It was very positive overall. It just was pointing out the
marketing.
Yes, exactly. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I say we leave it in and other people can make a decision whether or not sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Russ. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I was just going to say that, I think that there are going to be people who are going to regret it. So we should put it on there and see how it goes.
All right. Then we have overall favorite gaming hardware this year. Systems, controllers, accessories. This does not have to be like a system. It can be anything that is, you can physically touch with your hands. What do you guys have? Rich, you got any hardware that you just absolutely love that you picked up?
Yeah, I am. By the way, I think I'm pretty boring this year when it comes to these hardware awards, but the one thing I have for this one is a leverless controller. I find, like you, Bill, I finally dove into leverless land. And I'm not like a full convert yet, but I enjoy my time with it. It's really, really novel. I first was going to buy one when 8BitDo announced theirs, and that felt like a good time to jump in. But the 8BitDo one took a while to release. So finally I was like, oh, let me just pick up this other one that gets good reviews, and I had a blast with it, and I'm gonna continue to have a blast with it, I think.
Do you know what it's called so I can put it in the thing?
I will find it for you.
I'll just put leverless then.
Okay, but yeah, it's like an R3 or something. It's like a weird name.
All right, when you find it, you can just update it or text me or something.
I got you.
Russ, you got some hardware that you want to nominate?
Yeah, this one's kind of crazy. So you guys know that company Genki, right? Like they make Nintendo Switch accessories and stuff. They came out with a power bank. It's called, I think, the Energy Pack. And it's like 10,000 milliamp hour little brick, right? But it magnetically attaches to the back of your phone, and it fits perfectly with my iPhone. I don't have it on me because I was using it last night when the power was out. So it connects right there. It's got this kind of black and orange look to it, really cool looking. But it also has a little screen on it, a little window, and it'll tell you how much battery is remaining, but then also the charging speed on it. And I did not realize how helpful that is for me when I'm like, okay, it's charged at 10 watts, in 20 minutes, I'll be able to take it off and I'll be good. Right. And so like, it's been really handy for me just as an iPhone accessory, but then also you can charge anything with it. And so my last trip to New York, all I brought with me for my whole trip was a tiny little brick that I can plug into the wall, that Energy Pack, and my A1 Thor, and that's it, and one cable. It did everything I needed to. I was able to charge my phone. I was able to play my games, and I didn't have anything else to charge, basically, other than my Bluetooth headphones. And that was it. Like, everything worked really well. And so I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's definitely not for a Switch thing, even though they're kind of a Switch company. Really happy with that. And so that's kind of my favorite accessory. There's another one they have called the Moonbase, which is like a power brick, like it's like a full on, like a, what do they call those things, like a surge protector kind of thing, right? But it's just beautiful, and it has 4 USB ports on it that are super fast power too, like 110 watts, and I think 2 of them are that. And this thing just charges everything. So that's my nomination here, is just like this Genki power accessories. Whatever they've been making have been, to me, better than the stuff that you can get from Anker or Ugreen or any of those. Like, it's just really nice. They're a little bit more expensive, but I think they look better and have a lot more personality to them.
What was the first one, Russ?
They call it the Energy Pack, I think.
Okay.
Energy Pack, okay.
It's hard to find on their website. I can give you guys links.
Yeah, give me some links, and I'll make sure that they're in the description down below so people can pick that up if they want it. Genki Energy Safe? Energy
Pack and Moonbase.
Pack and Moonbase.
Yeah.
Those are fun names.
Yeah. I'll add the links.
I think I have to say the 8BitDo Pro 3. Like, that's the one that has the swappable buttons. It's got like this little suction cup thing, and the buttons are held on with a magnet. They're hard to take off without the little suction cup thing, which is great, so they don't fall off accidentally. But you just take your little suction cup thing, you swap your buttons around so you have either ABXY in the right order, or you can switch to just regular colors if you don't want to have ABXY. Whenever my grandson and I are playing video games, I give him that controller, and I've organized, because we're playing Lego Star Wars and it's color-coded, but he knows his colors, but he doesn't know his letters. So when we're playing, he knows that the green button is the green button, and that's a really great way for him to play, and we usually have a lot of fun with that. So that is the 8BitDo Pro 3. Awesome. Any other nominations for this category? Do you guys want to move on?
I think it's good. I like that this is different than our best new and old hardware. Like, it's just like additional picks that just make life better,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on from hardware to games. We're going to start off with our favorite game that we played this year. And I'm going to start us off because my favorite game that I played this year, even though technically it came out last year, is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I absolutely love that game. It is incredibly fun. There's no good reason for me to have not already purchased the DLC for it because I played all the way through and finished the game, and there was not one moment of gameplay that I was bored. Everything was awesome. Troy Baker nailed Harrison Ford's voice. The graphics were beautiful. I had so much fun playing this game, and I am looking forward to picking up that deal. I need to look and see if the DLC is on sale right now on Steam, because if it is, I'm going to be buying it because it's just so damn good. So for me, Indiana Jones. Russ.
So this is, I don't know. I think it's going to make some people a little sad or upset or whatever, but it's not. I thought it was going to be Expedition 33, right? Because I did really enjoy that, but it's not. It is Final Fantasy 16. I played them back to back. Yeah, and I loved the Final Fantasy 16 experience. Like, the combat in it was just a better fit for me, I think. There were moments of Expedition 33 where I was just like, I was frustrated, you know, either by the difficulty of it or just like the navigation and where to go. And, you know, just some moments where I was like a little frustrated. Final Fantasy 16 just kind of held my hand throughout it. And there were enough things that I could like enable, like additional magic things or settings, whatever, where I was just a total badass when I was playing it. You know, like it removed a lot of those like frustrations, and to the point where I was like, and that's especially a game where it's very epic and Titan feeling, because you're fighting these huge battles and you're just like, how can they escalate this more? And then they do, you know? And to meet that with also being a badass at the same time felt like playing like this Japanese Game of Thrones, Final Fantasy, Marvel mix is basically what I felt like I was playing. You know, it was like a comic book movie. And so I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 16. Like I can't wait to play the DLC. I just bought it on the last Steam sale, and it's one of those that I'm kind of savoring because I want to play it so much. So yeah, that's probably my number one pick.
And speaking of DLC, I just checked Indiana Jones and the Great Circle Order of Giants DLC is on sale for 25% off right now. So I just added that to my wish lists, and I will buy it after the show's over. All right, so we got Final Fantasy 16, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Rich, what's the game that you play? Your favorite game you played this year?
I have a few. I'm gonna pick for this first nomination. I'm gonna pick Silksong. Hollow Knight Silksong. Excellent campaign. Still have more to do in that game. It is just, it obviously took many years to make. And they diverged from the original, but they diverged in all the ways that I personally wanted them to, even if not everybody was happy with that. And so it just really spoke to me personally.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Any other games we want to... Go ahead,
I think
Russ.
We should put Expedition 33 on there, though, too. You know, because I think that, you know, people are going to want to vote for that. And it was my second favorite. You know, like it was a close runner-up, but and I think it should get a little bit of recognition.
Anything else you want to add in there, Rich?
I'm going to add Split Fiction, another one of my favorite games of the year. I haven't finished it mostly because I'm playing with my daughter, so we play it together. And so we're just taking it at whatever pace we take it at. There is this one level she loves to replay. And yeah, that alone for me is just really special. There's so many moments that are memorable in that game, and so many different like set pieces and different like, there's a lot of variety in how you play that game. So another top one for me.
That's awesome. I can like picture Rich and his daughter sitting on the couch, and Rich is like, we're finally going to find out what happens to these two characters. And she's like, Dad, let's go play that level again. And you're
right.
Like, damn it.
That is a little bit what it's like, but you know, I let it go, and I'm better for it. We're all better for it. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else that we want to add on there? All right. Let's move on to our favorite overlooked or hidden gem game. Rich, I'm going to let you start us off because you went last time.
Oh man, another one where I have a bunch, and I'm going to find it hard to narrow down. One I want to mention, especially because I haven't mentioned it yet, is called Spindle. So Spindle is like reminiscent of A Link to the Past. And it is, I think it's like $10. I could be wrong. I'll check.
How could you do this to me?
I know, but it's so good. It's so good. And I think everyone, like, you know, we find a hard time to like align on the games we like. I think everyone on this cast will enjoy Spindle.
And there's a demo. It's currently on sale and it's $13. It's 35% off, and there's a demo so you can try it out before you buy it, which is
looks great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I just added that demo to my library.
There you go.
Awesome. Rich? Rich. No, Rich. Damn it.
No, not Rich. Rich.
The other Rich.
Russ.
That's how many I have, you know, I have that many recommendations.
Russ, the other Rich.
I've got two, but first is going to be Slots and Daggers. So that's the game that I've talked about quite a bit. And it's still, I would say it's still kind of like hidden gem. It's got 2,700 reviews on Steam. So I feel like it's still a little bit small. Really enjoyed that one. It's only like a 6 to 8 hour experience. Not a lot of replayability to it, but yeah, just really enjoyed. Like that's a game to play while you're watching a show and you're just kind of, you know, halfway in between both of them. You know, like it's a really fun experience for me. And so that's my first one. I can give you my second one now, or we can go back and forth with Rich. Either one's cool.
Mine was going to be Slots and Daggers, so I don't have another one, so go ahead.
So my other one is not a hidden gem if you think about it directly, but I think it kind of is just because it's behind a big paywall, and that's Half-Life Alyx. So this one, you know, like you got to have a VR headset to play this game, but when you play it, like I probably put 4 hours into it this year and really over the past month, just because I got like hyped about the Steam machine and all that stuff. And then I was thinking Half-Life 3 was going to come out. It is so good. Like it is so immersive. I don't play a lot of VR, right? But it was so immersive. And I don't know, something about it where I was like, this is a different way, like a whole different level of playing video games, you know? And I just love that aspect of it. And so I just really want to get it on here so that people just are reminded that this is, if you have any access to VR, this is a must play title. That's really it.
Yeah, I have the PSVR 2, and before I switched my computer over to full Bazite, I did install Half-Life Alyx because if you ever hooked your Steam controller, the original Steam controller, up to a Mac, there was like some problem, and Valve's apology was you get every game from Valve. And so Half-Life Alyx, this was after the Steam controller came out, just shows up in your library, which is great. So I hooked up. I went out and I bought like a third party PSVR 2 to PC dongle, I guess is what I would call it, and tried that, and it was a nightmare. Did not work. So then I bought the official one off the Sony store, returned the third party one, and that also did not work very well. Like I would be using it, and like I would see all kinds of like I had all kinds of problems. So what I did play of Half-Life Alyx was really cool, and I agree with everything that you're saying. But I just put it back on the shelf and ignoring it until we get the Steam frame, and I can try it on that, because now that I have Bazite, I can't hook it up because there's no drivers for PSVR 2. Rich?
All right, next one I've talked about a bunch in these last few episodes. I'm going to say Sectori. It's the Geometry Wars, like the dual stick shooter. I've just continued to enjoy it. It's really good, really addicting, and definitely has that one more run kind of feel to it. So that's my other pick.
Very cool. All right. Well, we got quite a few games in there. We got 4 games in that list, and you guys can add more. Again, link down below that like button if you want to add your ideas. Biggest game regret. I wish I didn't buy this. I think everybody's going to know. I think you guys are going to know what mine is, but I'll go last. Rich,
I might have to go last. I didn't see this category. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Give me a moment to think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to think about it too, actually.
Oh,
Hold
no.
on, let me look.
Okay, well, then I'm going to go first.
I don't know why.
Tell everybody. Metroid 4. So a couple episodes ago, I talked about the audio issues that I was having, and I'm still really early on in the game. Like, I've got the motorcycle and I'm driving around in the desert or whatever. But for the most part, I'm just bored. Like, I just find the game to be a little boring. And I also really don't like the way that it controls. And I know I get it. For Metroid purists, it's supposed to play like this. But, you know, that was a very long time ago. Like, when did Metroid Prime 3 come out? 15 years ago or some nonsense?
Yeah, 2008, 2009, something.
Yeah, so long ago. We've made improvements since then. And Nintendo did the weird stuff with Metroid Prime 1 originally because the C-stick on the GameCube was jank. Well, now we have real sticks on our systems. So we could have just played this like a regular first-person shooter, and it would have been really, like, it would have been better. Like, the controls would have been better. But even just, like, I'm walking along and some monsters jump out, and I'm like, well, they're just in my way. And so, like, I lock on and I shoot them, and I lock on, shoot the next one. And it's just very rinse and repeat. And I don't know if my tastes have changed or if this one just isn't quite up to snuff. And so I regret buying it. I'm still going to put some more time into it because I spent a lot of money on that damn game. I could have bought 7 Sectoris, but I didn't. I bought this instead, and so I have regrets. So, all right. Did either of you guys come up with one while I was ranting?
Russ, did you?
Yeah. So Metal Gear Solid Delta is going to be on my list.
I forgot about that one, yes.
Yeah. I bought that. I played through it. And I was done in like 2.5 days, and I really should have just waited until it was cheaper. You know, like it was cool, and it was a great experience. I don't remember what the price was, but if it's anything more than $40,
70.
like, yeah, why did I do that? It was a good experience, you know. But like for me, as a very price conscious kind of guy, like that was just I just bought too much into the like I'm gonna get it on day one, right? And I'm not a day one type of guy for the most part. So that's like my looking through my catalog of everything I bought this year. Like that's the one where I'm like, even though I played through it, I wish I hadn't. Like I wish I had waited. You know,
I had never played the Metal Gear games before, other than like the NES one. And I was like very excited for Metal Gear Delta. I was like, I'm going to get to experience everything that everybody's always talking about. And I did not enjoy that game. So I'm glad that you brought it up because I forgot about that. I wiped it from my memory. That's how bad I think that game is.
Yeah. So Rich, if it helps with you, what I did is I opened up my Steam client, went to library, went to those, and then sorted by date added. And then I was able to see everything I bought this year. So
yeah, that's what I did. And I don't know if it's because I'm using, you know, I use the returns, and also like there's just so many demos. I'm looking at my account, and I have like 50 demos installed on my machine. So like I'm always trying stuff too. So I am. It's hard for me to pick one of these and be like, oh yeah, I didn't like it. So I got nothing.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I got nothing for this one.
It just goes to show how good you are at shopping for new games.
That's it. Yeah.
That's right. All right. So news. This is like big news that happened. Releases, delays, acquisitions, all of that kind of thing. What is the biggest surprise in gaming news this year? The thing that you did not expect to happen. What do you guys think?
So right off the top of my head, it's not really 100% gaming, but it's this Warner Brothers Netflix merger. Like, I see all the time gaming studios getting bought out by Microsoft and whatever. And I'm like, oh, that'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the future. With this Warner Brothers Netflix thing, I really feel like this is going to put some pretty consequential harm on Warner Brothers games. And there's a lot of IPs within there. And I'm worried that this is actually going to have like a long-lasting effect, especially two huge companies coming together like that. Stuff's going to fall through the cracks. And they aren't talking a lot about Warner Brothers games when they're talking about this merger. They're talking about all the other stuff they're going to do in the film industry as opposed to with the gaming side. And that makes me worry a little bit. And so WE games have sometimes been pretty hit or miss, but this makes me feel like we're going to see a lot more misses, a few years from now.
Yeah, I think the guy, I don't know who the CEO of Netflix is, but like somebody asked him about the games division of WB, and he was like, "Yeah, that didn't even factor into our calculations. We like they were just like, we do not give a shit about that." So yeah, I think you're right,
yes,
Russ.
Essentially, yeah, that's a good one. I like the only thing that kept me positive about the Microsoft ABK acquisition is that I just didn't really like ABK leadership. But I don't even have that with like Netflix and Warner Brothers. I don't know much about their leadership. Warner Brothers is, but yeah, that wasn't a fun piece of news. But given that this, do you mind if I go, Bill?
I was hoping you would.
All right, cool. Given that this is just biggest surprise, right? We're just doing biggest surprise.
Sure,
right?
The thing that shocked you.
Yes. It didn't shock me that much because I predicted it, but I still have to say Steam hardware. I'm still surprised they went through with it.
Yeah.
I was like,
it was huge.
That's why I went to ask. I was like, are we sure because I had a feeling it might be both of us. Yeah. But yeah, they went Steam machine, Steam frame, Steam controller, and also not announced. So this doesn't count. But we've all seen the rumors now that like Half-Life is part of this like big bang theory, as I've called it in the past. That was a humongous surprise as far as the industry goes.
Yeah, I feel like I've been asking for a Steam controller too since I started my channel. Pretty much, I'm always been the guy that's like, I like gyro, I like the trackpads, I like all this stuff, and then the Steam Deck came out, and I was like, holy cow, it has all the inputs that I want. Thank you. Can we now get a new one of these? And now we have one. I didn't think that would ever happen. Ever. All right. Well, that was also mine. Please give us some more things to nominate if you're watching this or listening to this over on the YouTube channel. Any other things that you guys want to add before we move on to the biggest letdown in gaming news?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I'm going to start off the biggest letdown, and I think that everybody knows what this is going to be, and it is the Game Pass price hike. I think it's like the price hikes in general for everything across the board. Just everything keeps getting more and more and more and more expensive. And I feel like the Game Pass price hike was the thing that felt like the straw that broke the camel's back. You were just like, okay, I've had enough. And I canceled mine, although I canceled mine slightly like 2 days before it happened. And then when I got this, it automatically re-upped because it came with like the little trial or whatever, and so I have to go recancel it. But yeah, Game Pass price hike up to $30 for that, I think was the biggest letdown in gaming news. And I hope that you guys have something that I'm like, oh yeah, I should have thought of that.
No, I think the Game Pass is a good one because it felt mean. Right. It's not often that you see these price hikes and you're like, okay, I get it. But this one just felt mean. They're like, you know what? I kept saying to myself, well, we'll always still have Game Pass. Like, it's still a great deal. And they're like, actually, no, we're going to take that one away. And so that's the one that really kind of bothered me about that. Yeah. So mine is the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement, actually, because Nintendo has always been very innovative. Like it's always so exciting to be like, what are they going to do next? What kind of crazy thing are they going to do? And they're just like mouse mode, like that's as far as it went. And we spent so much time speculating, like, what are they going to do? They're going to put a GPU in the dock? Or are they going to, they're going to do something crazy and really like transform this experience? And they just were like, you know what? This works. We're going to do the safest thing possible. We're just going to upgrade the hardware. It's a good upgrade. Like, I got no issues with it, but my expectations were a lot higher, and so it was a letdown for me.
Rich, what let you down?
That's another good one. I think we can do this just being price stuff, and we would still have a ton of nominations. But I'm going to go ahead and go with RAM prices soaring. That is a huge letdown. It's a latecomer to the year, but yeah, I've been very disappointed with this news.
Somebody in my comments on my video that I posted today called it the Rampocalypse, and I like that a lot.
That's good. That's good.
I don't think I spelled it right, but that's okay. All right. We've got 2 categories left: best company of the year and worst company of the year. Russ, give us the best company of the year.
Well, it's like, do I pick one that's out of the area, or do I just pick Valve like we're all going to pick? And so for me, yeah, Valve is. I mean, they didn't release anything this year, right? But they held the line. They were steady about everything. Like they had Steam Deck discounts several times this year, right? Mm-hmm. No price hikes, discounts. And in addition to announcing a bunch of hardware, it's getting everyone very excited. It is a little frustrating to me that they don't have pricing yet for some of this stuff, but it's very early. So for me, this is best company of the year just because they weren't the villain, where a lot of people kind of felt like they were.
Rich?
I want to add to that real quick. They also addressed some. I don't want to speak too much about it because I haven't researched enough about it. But they also addressed some of the criticisms around like the gambling stuff with the skins and things like that. So
right, just today, I think there was an article. There was something where they said, "What did they do? They did something today where they made it so you can't do something."
Yeah, sorry. That's why I said I don't want to cover it too deeply because I'm a little sparse on the details. But that's a big one that has always been one of the biggest and rightfully biggest criticisms of Valve. And I'm sure, again, without knowing the details, I'm sure that whatever they did is still not enough. But just the fact that they're doing something, I like that. As far as another best company of the year, no new games, but I'm still going to nominate Larian. I think, the more we hear from Sven, the more, I like hearing from him, essentially.
Me too.
Yeah. And so I like where his head is at. Nobody's perfect. None of these, corporations and companies are our friends, but I like hearing where Sven and people from that studio, what they're thinking and how they're operating. And so, I'd like to nominate Larian.
I kind of count the Game Awards as like his speech at the Game Awards last year was perfect. I loved what he had to say at the Game Awards last year, and that makes me agree with that nomination. I know he didn't say it this year, but the Game Awards kind of feels like the beginning of the gaming year, if that makes sense, or the beginning and the end at the same time. And so, that makes a lot of sense. And between Valve and Larian, I can't think of anybody else. Like Russ said, everybody kind of felt like the villain this year. And so it's hard to, I wish that I could think of somebody that just knocked it out of the park that I was super happy with. And I can't think of a company that did other than those two, but I'm sure that there are plenty that I'm not thinking of that did really, really cool things. So if you guys have nominations, please let us know. It's not that we think everybody else is a bunch of pieces of garbage. It's just that I just can't think of them off the top of my head, especially since Russ took Valve.
So let me add one more. So Sega. So I think that Sega, how they were like, what, we're bringing all these guys back. And all those different announcements they made, like the different IPs that they're bringing back, and just like kind of, like Crazy Taxi and all that stuff that they had announced about 6 months ago and whatnot. I think it's cool. I think it's cool that they're going back to that stuff. They obviously are a publishing studio, so they don't have like hardware price increases to deal with and whatnot. Because I think that's why we're thinking a lot of hardware companies, and that's probably why, But I feel like Sega and their like kind of going back to the basics is really awesome. So I like that.
And I know we haven't heard much of that since. I know that there are some people that are still like waiting to hear more about these Sega revivals, but I do want to say Shinobi was excellent. So that's +1 for them.
Yeah. Awesome.
And let's roll right into the worst company of the year. Normally we like to be positive, but when somebody is doing nasty things that we don't like, I think that it's okay to point that out. Russ, I'm going to let you start us off. Worst company of the year.
I'm tempted to say Analog, but I'm not. I'm going to say Microsoft. like I feel like at this point, like I have lost so much. I mean, I'm a huge Xbox fan, you know, like since the 360, it's like been just my favorite home console kind of experience. And they have just lost so much. I don't know, trust is the right word or what, but it's just been really disappointing for me to kind of feel like things are getting worse and worse and worse. And it's just kind of, it feels like it's a matter of time before they're getting out of the game, because they are going towards this unsustainable, huge price increases. And I think it's something to do with kind of their attitude towards it all that has just been very different for me. Like they don't have that, well, yeah, we're gamers too, we're nerds, and we want to make this as cool and fun as possible. It's more like take it or leave it, like we've talked about before. They're like, these are the new prices, you know. And I'm not surprised that they made less than the others by a long shot in Black Friday, and even this, you know, next advantage or whatever. And you know, someone made a good point. We're like, why would I spend $700 on an Xbox Series X when I can get one for $200 on Facebook Marketplace right now? And I think that says a lot about kind of where the state of where they are right now. And so, yeah, I just don't have a lot of faith and trust in these folks right now.
Well, you said, go ahead, Rich.
Well, I just want to point out too, I agree they should be nominated, but I want to point out the irony. They did have like a banner year in terms of video game releases, right? And I think we all acknowledge that here, and yet they still just blundered so much despite that. And so that's just rough.
Right. It's so ironic to me too, because this is like, this year I met people at Xbox and Microsoft, and it was like so cool to meet them, you know, and I'm just like, I wish you guys were doing better, you know. It was just, I think it would have been just a more special moment for me when I met them during the Xbox Ally X reveal.
I feel like they did a lot of, excuse me, I feel like they did do a lot of good things, especially like we've been talking about it for years, that we were tired of how Windows works on a controller. And this is the first year where they actually took that feedback and turned it into making the controller a first-class citizen on their hardware when it comes to the new Xbox experience. I know that we were pretty harsh on the new Xbox experience, but when you compare it to what we had before, it's 1,000 times better than it ever was. And then you stack on top of that the fact that Rich is saying they put out a lot of really good games this year. Yeah. I agree with that. But all of the things that they did that were bad, especially around like Copilot and price hikes, and just I feel like they're the kid who's playing t-ball, not baseball, t-ball, and they cannot hit the ball. No matter how hard they try, they just keep whiffing that thing over and over and over. And you're just like, come on, guys, do better. Like, nobody on this podcast hates Microsoft. We want them to do well, because the more companies that do well, the better it is for us, because we get more competition. But it just feels like they cannot get out of their own way. They're trapped in a room just filled with rakes. It's just an infinite room, infinite rakes, and every time they take a step, bam, right in the face, over and over and over again. And it's just driving me up the wall.
Part of me thinks that maybe next year they'll be on the best company of the year lists. Like maybe this is all just investment into a better experience in the future with Windows 12 or something, you know, the next Xbox. Like it's all pointing towards that, and it's just like the slump that they're in right now before they get out. But I don't know, year over year, it just feels like it becomes a worse experience, just being an Xbox player in general. And so yeah, it's unfortunate. And I think there's a lot of good, you know, they tried with that experience. But, you know, one of the things I talked about in one of my previous videos was like, they are being outclassed by a team of hobbyist developers with Bazite. And I think that kind of says a lot, you know, that this huge, one of the biggest companies in the world are being outclassed by a small, you know, Rat Pack team kind of thing. And I like that. So,
you know what? Best company of the year. I want to go back. Bazite. I want to know. I don't know if it's a company. It's Universal Blue or whatever. I just like what they're doing. I like what they're doing a lot. So I'm going to throw them in there. And then for worst company, since you brought it up, Russ, I'm going to nominate Analog. I love the hardware, but man, did they piss me off with their color thing that they did, where they're like, here's the black and white one. Awesome. I pre-ordered it. 2 days after it arrives, here's all the color ones. And I'm like, come on, you pricks. Are you kidding me? Like, that really made me mad. So I'm throwing analog on there. Rich, you got a nomination?
I'm going with Rockstar, not because of the GTA 6 delay. Although, like, that points to, I think, just their, not a delay in particular, but just the way that they've been delaying points to some of the mismanagement that they've had. But more so, I am nominating them for allegedly firing folks that were unionizing, right? So, well, they definitely fired folks that were unionizing. The allegedly part was whether or not that was causal. So that's, they claim that the firing had nothing to do with the unionization. Make of that what you will.
So down below the links, or down below that like button, there's going to be a link that's going to take you to a survey where you guys can do nominations, and then I'm going to go through those nominations and find the most popular things that you guys nominate. If it's not already on our list, we will add it to the list. That's going to do it for this episode, but don't go, because I got to find out what these guys are up to. Rich, what have you been working on, man?
I think I'm officially beginning my break. So I have a couple of videos that like are written, and I just haven't made time to actually record them, edit them. So I think I'm just going to call it now and come back with a few episodes starting in January, and we'll see how that goes.
Oh, I thought he was going to say starting in June.
Right. Yep.
What about you, Russ? You got some videos coming out?
I'm winding down too. I did my favorite handhelds of the year video last weekend, and so that's like my big one. And then I'm just now kind of hitting the things I want to, and there's a couple handhelds that are coming out, so I'm reviewing that as well. Honestly, I'm catching up on Stranger Things because I started at season 1. I want to get ready and then finish it when it finishes, and then I'm playing Dispatch, and my God, like that game is so awesome. I limit myself to like 1 or 2 episodes a day, because they're about an hour each. It's like playing a TV show, and it's been so great. I'm on episode 6, so I've got 7, 8, 9, or I finished episode 6, so I got 7, 8, 9 left, 3 left, and then I'm done.
Do you want to throw that in on any of the categories since you love it so much? Or do you want to wait until you finish it? I'm gonna have to wait, just because it's not the game for me. Like it's actually extremely stressful. Like when you're doing the dispatching, like, holy smokes, I'm so bad at that. I just want to get to the story. I want to press the X button to kiss the girl or whatever. Like that's what I want to be doing right then. And so it's funny. So I'm mixed on it, but I am really enjoying the experience. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the NerdNest podcast. Hey, it's Christmas time. Go stand under a mistletoe and press X. Kiss the girl. And we will see you on the next episode. Done. Stay rad, everybody. Bye-bye.
Oh,
hey, everybody, welcome. What happened?
I forgot I got to leave the door open. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No big deal.